What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, the show on the internet where we watch the latest and greatest stuff on streaming services. I am one of you, with you guys,
That's
sorry.
right.
I am one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my two arch nemesis, Sheps and Tyler here today.
It's like octopus. Is it two octopus? Two octopuses?
I think
Octopi?
so. I don't know. Someone let me know in the
Octopi. It's
comments.
octopi, bro.
Octopi is plural, right? And arch
Who fucking
nemesis.
knows?
Arch nemesis is arch nemesis. I'm gonna say that. No, do you know what it is?
I don't think that's it.
Definitely not it.
Someone said to me, they were like, why are all podcasts two bros or two friends having a conversation? Where are the arch nemesis coming in and having a... So this is what we are
Well,
today.
it's two Jews and an anti-Semite. That's
Oh,
what it
shit.
is. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
actually.
We'll let you decide which one.
Actually, we've got the perfect tension here because you are Muslim
That's true.
and a Turk. And that's like the worst kind of it.
true,
you know?
There you
dude.
go.
I feel
True.
like that was a
Historically,
very
not friends.
intra-group level.
Can you feel the
of friendly
tension
racism,
between us
yeah.
three here? Can you feel it? Yeah.
What's your stereotype? Your dad had
Yeah.
that kebab shop. Like,
My
it's
dad did have a
perfect.
kebab shop. That is facts, yeah.
It is
Did he
perfect.
really? Oh, dude,
Oh, yeah.
He came to this country. He immediately worked for a kebab shop. Then he saved up the money to have his own kebab shop. It's pure.
Dude, that's the dream, though. That's the dream.
That's the Turkish dream. Come to
Go
England
back
That's
to
the
your
Turkish
roots.
dream.
and open up a kebab shop.
Go back to your roots, isn't it? Wouldn't it be better?
And I worked in it for a period
who
of time
doesn't
as well.
Think about how much better
And
this
I don't,
podcast
I
would
don't
be
think
with
you have
lamb.
this in the...
Just go. Excuse me.
See,
lamb
there's some-
going.
So
behind us.
is a kebab in the UK, because it is certainly in Australia, a kebab shop is your go-to 3 a.m.
Yep.
after a
Yep.
night out at clubs
Yep.
meal. You go to a kebab shop.
That's
It's one of the great feeds.
we have two versions. We have that version which is amazing, you know, when
Yeah.
you're smashed out of your face and it tastes so great. However, during the day it tastes
Oh, you
awful.
would never want to go there. Yeah.
And then we have full-on restaurants that actually do make good stuff that you would eat any time of the day and without being plastered drunk. So that's where we've slightly
You
evolved.
mean
in the
Turkish
UK.
restaurants is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah, they do still have
No,
kebabs,
of course.
but
I mean,
the
I've
Turkish
been
restaurants.
there's Turkish restaurants. Turkish cuisine's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
and then there's
What's
kebab
the-
shops.
Right.
And then there's I'm specifically talking about a kebab shop
Yes.
in the UK.
That-
That's your essential
yes.
3 a.m. after a
Yeah.
night out, beers. Yeah, so that's ours as well. There's a different thing. I assumed it was a part of all kebab shops, so it would be in the UK as well. But it's actually it's an Australian cuisine, and it's only at kebab shops called a halal snack pack.
What
What?
the fuck
you-
is that?
So a halal snack pack is my quintessential 3 a.m, drunk as all hell after night out feed. It's filthy.
Okay.
So it's just pretty much loaded chips, but it's with lamb, beef, and chicken.
That sounds
like
good.
off of where you'd put on a kebab with
sounds
sweet,
good.
and you can get whatever sauce you want. But I get sweet chili, sour cream, and melted cheese on chips. On top of chips.
Yeah, okay.
It's called a halal snack pack.
I don't know if
and
I
that's
like
what
the
I get from a
toppings.
kebab shop.
I imagined it as like
That's my go-to,
chips-
but you can get lots.
chips like lamb on top or
for
chicken
you,
on
you do
top, and
pulled
then just
pork.
chili sauce on top. No pork.
There's no pork. I'll give you that. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. There's no pork on the menu.
And then like chili sauce on top. I could imagine that with cheese as well on top. That'd
Yeah,
be a
it's banging.
fucking banger.
Yeah.
By the
cheese.
way, this
Yeah,
is actually
definitely.
a Streamcast episode.
This
not,
is yes. This actually is a Streamcast podcast.
So we're just
on
actually
Hawkeye.
friends and want to catch up and talk.
That's the thing. We've been
a
chatting
disaster.
probably for an hour or half an hour already, but we rarely get to speak to each other like this, so we just...
Yeah, this is our catch-up time. Welcome everybody to this episode of a review roundup episode of Hawkeye.
That's right.
the
It just
Disney Plus
finished
show.
airing like a week ago. We are hot on the presses.
Exactly.
With this, we got our finger on the pulse. It's brand new. Everybody's just watching it. You're all excited about it. You want to hear it. This has not been delayed once. We thought, you know what? It just came out. We will get straight in there and get on it.
Exactly. We don't want to keep you guys waiting all day and waiting for another show to finish and then
Right.
come along. But bro, how you doing, Tyler? Thanks for joining us for this episode. How's it going?
Yeah, look, doing good. Happy to be here. It's a Friday night here, and we're actually... Oh, jeez, my mic fell. We're flooding in Brisbane at the moment. The rain's been torrential all day. And
No way.
I had, after work, I had sparring. So I went sparring, and then we would go to leave, and the road was flooded. And I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
fuck. Yeah, but it's pretty... Like, we get... Every few years, there's like a summer... We get a wet summer because it's a humid area. It's quite tropical.
Yeah.
In this part of Australia. Especially the further north you go. and it's just like some summers. This has been a wet summer. Like, it honestly has been shit. It's just torrential rain, thunderstorms all the time. And that I love thunderstorms and shit, but we just get so much of it, and it floods all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. We get so much rain here. Like, and it just fucks shit up.
We had our own
because you want to go to the beach. We have the best
We did.
beaches on earth, and we can't fucking use them this summer. It's been shit.
And all the bitches have covered up instead of having their bikinis on. Come on now.
I know, I'm the one that gets beefed up with the sexism.
Why do you
Everyone's
hate
all the
women, huh?
bitches have covered up.
Be
I just don't
respectful to
understand why you hate
women.
them. I
Be
just don't understand why you hate
respectful
them.
to
What do they
bitches.
ever do to
Bitches
you?
love respect.
We speaking of storms, we had our own storm here in the UK.
We did.
It's a bit more of a thing because we don't really have big thing. We have a lot of rain and then that's about it.
Yeah.
But we had this big storm, blew off like 18 of the 20 panels I've got in
I
my
saw
garden.
the O2, yeah. I saw the O2,
O2 got
got
ripped
fucking
open.
through.
Yeah.
By the way, people are like, oh, it
That's
was covered with
fucked.
canvas. What do you expect? Like, that's glass fiber.
Yeah,
it's pretty sturdy.
Yeah, I was like, that's not fucking.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah,
also,
right.
wasn't it?
It's not a
tarp.
sail. It's
not
not
a
like a
tarp.
wind sail.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the year 2000 that thing was made and it's lasted all this time throughout all these
Yeah.
years? This was clearly something bigger than normal.
Also, I could be making this up, but I'm pretty sure one of the big things about why they picked it is it was like NASA grade fiber. It's the stuff they would make material stuff out of for space because it was supposed to be like space age.
it was solid enough and not likely to rip open and flap open enough that they made trips that people can go walk on top of the dome. So if they can allow civilians to walk over it, they probably are pretty confident that it was going to be okay. This was a rare occurrence.
My big thing about the storm though was that it was called Eunice.
Yeah, not
You
a great
know,
name.
Like, I feel like it was the Mrs. Doubtfire of songs. Like, oh, Euphigenia, Storm Euphigenia. It's like, no.
Anyway, as we were saying,
That's right.
The podcast.
Hang on, before we get into that, I've got questions. We're having a real conversation.
Go
I have
on.
questions. Do you guys have natural disasters like often like that in the UK? Like, I feel like there's not a lot that goes on in terms of natural disasters.
We do
You
get
don't-
flooding.
You wouldn't often get a hurricane.
We do,
You know what I mean?
every now and again, have a windy season where a few of our deck chairs fall over.
It's true. In fairness, right?
Do you get earthquakes in
No.
the UK? Is
we
that-
had one, and it was we had
Was
like a level of fifth. What's it? The Richter scale, a 5. But
Yes.
that was like really unusual.
a
That's-
magnitude 5.
Yeah, that by the way is the first time we've ever had one. It's like in our
I was going
lifetimes.
to say, we're on like the middle of one of those tectonic plates, so it's like rare that we
we're-
ever
we're
feel
pretty
anything.
Okay, but we also get we do get weird things because of where we are in the world. So like we get a lot of rain, obviously, and then so flooding's a real big issue in a lot of parts of the UK. We do get gales and stuff. Like Eunice was 125-mile-an-hour winds, but the thing is, when you build your houses out of bricks and not out of wood like the Americans, they don't all blow away.
Yeah.
So
Funny that.
it was a pretty serious wind, but the houses are all fine, you know.
Yeah.
But then
But
we
we
get
don't have anything more than that.
we
don't
get weird things though. Like do you remember a few years ago when the sky was all brown, and that was because of sand coming over from the Sudan.
Really?
Yeah. We get all sorts
my
of
memory's
weird
shit,
shit.
so-
Yeah, there's weird stuff about we're in a really weird part of the world.
But is that
nothing like-
because the world is ending, or is that because it's the UK? I think it's
exactly
because the
like
world is ending.
the country doesn't?
But that's
burn
not
down.
that a lot. I feel like in my life, just in my lifetime, and where I live, like we get cyclones, yearly,
serious.
sometimes
Yeah.
multiple times a year. Like that's just normal. As like even in the area I live, bushfires. I remember being taken out of school in grade 7 for a tsunami warning.
That's pretty serious.
Like because my school was like 500 meters from the ocean.
that sounds awful.
That's terrible.
know,
Nice
like-
weather next to
and-
the ocean. Oh no, might get tsunamis.
Yeah, like literally, it's like I just always think like everything's a threat, you know?
Yeah.
As we get the most beautiful country in the world, but
Everything
everything's
wants
trying to kill
you.
you,
The weather
and
wants to kill
everything's a
you.
threat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
country
get-
burns
animals
down
wanna kill
every
you.
few years.
You get
Yeah.
all of these, but on the plus side, there are bitches on the beach all the time. So
Exactly.
you know, there's that.
Best
who
beaches
like
in the
respect.
world.
Bitches.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. Let's maybe not call them bitches in 2022, huh? You know what I mean?
That's right.
Maybe, maybe let's not.
We established we're all minorities. We get a pass.
Yeah,
We are
exactly.
all minorities. I
We're
don't like
minorities,
saying
so
that.
there you go.
I don't
Come
like-
at me. Come at me.
I am Jewish. This
guy.
In
That
his
we
oy
do
vey. In his
I'm
shot.
not. I'm not even.
He's got a
I'm not even
yarmulke on.
joking. I
In my head, he is going to turn
I'm
up
not
one
joking.
day fully in like the top hat, the black coat.
Grow his side
And I'll
buns
just
out.
open up the
That's
curtains and I'll obviously ask you consent first, but I will reveal my circumcised penis.
There we go.
I
That's what I'll
expect the
reveal to
dick
you.
pic. I expect the dick
it,
pic. By the way, this is
yeah.
going up on their channel.
No,
We don't have
no,
to
I'll
worry
show you
about
in person when I
monetization,
see
do
you.
we?
Yeah,
Oh,
this is
talk
their
about
channel.
whatever.
I almost booked flights to the UK today.
Oh,
I
what?
almost
stopped you?
did. I was like, honestly, what stopped me is I am really training really hard for an MMA fight. And when I was going to book for, because I'm like, yeah, that'll be perfect. I'll go for like 3 weeks. It'll be fucking awesome.
Oh.
And then I was like, but that's when I want to have my fight. And if I leave right before it, that'll set me back months.
I mean, look,
so I need to fight first.
think about this.
Well, you're coming here
because I was
permanently.
gonna book flights for July. Like I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go in like a couple months and just get over there. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll stop in Miami first and see David, and then I'll fly over to London. But then I'm thinking now September, October again. But I'm
Think about it like
pretty set
this.
on booking today.
When you get your teeth kicked in and you come to UK, it's okay because we're all used to having bad teeth. So no one's even going to notice. It won't be an issue here.
There you go.
It won't be an issue.
That is a weird thing because I don't feel like my teeth are that bad.
They're not. It's just a trope.
It's just the trope.
It's
Yeah,
totally
I was
not
gonna
true.
say.
Yeah, it's totally not true. And because all of our stuff, because on the NHS, like kids get braces, you don't have to pay for it; they just get braces. So our teeth are fine.
I don't know where
It's
this
just a trope.
started
It's just a
from.
trope.
But it's like a who are the rednecks? What do you call the rednecks of the UK? Like obviously rednecks, white trash in
Chavs.
America. We call
Where's
them we call
Ethan
them
from?
bogans in Australia. We call them bogans.
Yeah.
Where's Ethan from? The Scouse? What are they called?
The
I mean,
Scousers.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot. I can't remember who it was, but someone said about white. They were saying to white people, but it's way more about British people. Where they were like, white people are racist, but they're so racist that they then needed a way to be racist to each other, so they invented classism, and that's us, right?
Yeah.
And then we invented subclasses.
Yeah.
So you've got like lower class, working class, whatever. And then you got like chavs and
Yeah.
travellers, and like we'll separate you into anything to beef you out.
To just hate you.
Yeah.
Turns out people just want to hate people.
Yeah.
This is still a Streamcast episode. By
It
the way.
is, but I feel like I tried
like-
to interject too many times now. I don't know what to do.
I feel like this is anyway.
Yes.
I'm
I'm sorry.
So look, you're on the Four
questions.
Pillars Network. You're not used to having high quality podcast content. We understand that, so we brought along a Four Pillars proponent, one of their kind. We brought him on so that you can see that in a vacuum with two qualified hosts,
My
they
incredible
can
jawline
produce
as well.
good content. What he said in
His incredible jawline as
his
well.
incredible
Too
jawline,
much.
yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's tough to. It's
Listen,
tough being me sometimes.
I can
You know what I mean?
understand why someone would want to fight with you. It's a punchable face.
It's a punchable face. That's what it is.
Well, that's how I'm gonna win. They're gonna be really emotional about it, and really want to hit me. And then they'll fuck up, and I'll just knock them out, bro.
There you
It's
go.
all over. Choke them unconscious.
Okay, guys,
Hawkeye.
this is a Hawkeye roundup episode. We have watched the entirety of Hawkeye, all 6 episodes, and we are here to talk about it with you guys. A lot of you guys have written in. Thank you for all that stuff.
Yep.
And let's
We've
just
had
start
6
off.
months.
I hate your fans.
And let's start off with
Fucking hate them. They're the
thanking
worst.
the best people on the
On
internet.
patreon.com/as
Shut
always.
up,
Thank you so much
fricker.
for the support.
These people pay for their
wouldn't be
names
here
to be
without
read
you.
out.
We wouldn't be here without them.
Let's
we would
thank
not be here without them.
the Super Bros who support us over at patreon.com/conversations.
/ as always.
Those people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cum Socks, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger. We're talking about your show today. Oh my god, that's perfect. Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Filthy Fanatic Joe McCormack, My Juicy Lefner, the Super Sexy Producer Sean Catsper, the Friendly Patron, the Gamer from Gaming Shire, Dave Bindis, Sir Clark the 53rd, Rick the hentai dwarf, It Hurts, the man who claims that One Punch Man is the best anime, and Kevin, the #1 simp.
Ollie the Superior Ollie, every Dom's cock, Galric, Kill Gilads, Shining Shaft,
freaking guy.
Just for Olsen, King Richard III, Run Ever, Tristan with Viridian, and Ballsack 47. No silence when I'm here, boys.
Mate.
I thought to myself, they're going to do the silent thing, and I'm going to read my fucking list. I pulled it up. I was like,
What's going to happen?
These
In the
guys.
video, I'm
It's
just
gonna
going
be
to...
silent. He's gonna
I'm-
be ranting.
I'm
to
gonna
the camera.
tone it down like slowly down to nothing, and his video is just gonna shrink into little
You gotta
Tyler.
do that, you gotta do that.
See, I thought I'd be safe because
kangaroo.
Sheps. I thought Sheps was editing Streamcast, and he's too lazy to do that. So I just thought it was a.
Listen,
just gonna stay
I still have like flashbacks to when we did that podcast. You like put your heart and soul out there, and I specifically went in. I edited out exactly what needed to be cut from where it needs to be cut.
Yeah.
Rendered it, uploaded it, and you were like, "Brother, I thought you were gonna." Edit
Remove
this out.
that
And I'm
bit.
like, I absolutely did.
Which bit? Wait, which bit was that?
There was a name that we wanted to remove, and
was it my?
It was the one
Yeah.
same for you. We wanted it removed just because it messed with the flow and stuff.
Yes, no, I yeah,
And
no,
I went
totally
in and I
remember now.
painstakingly
that was so sweet
made
that you
sure.
edited that out for me.
I made,
Yeah.
I made sure, and then I uploaded it, and it was still in there.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I didn't come out of the cut file, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I get flashbacks to that.
Of Xbox. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics
It
on and
happens.
everything going
It
here at
happens.
Conversations.
Yeah, shut the frick up, Tyler. We're talking about Hawkeye for once.
All right. So,
I know.
Hawkeye, the Disney Plus show, 6 episodes, done and dusted. Surface level impressions. How did you guys feel about this whole show? Sheps, do you want to go first?
All right. I really wish we'd actually watched it at the time, coming
Yeah.
up to Christmas, because that would have been really great. Because they did release it so that it would work for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I really kind of wish we'd done that. Up
I
until starting, it-
certainly did.
huh? You
I
actually,
certainly did.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, I watch it week to week.
I didn't. And I'll be honest, up until doing this show, I didn't really feel like I was missing anything out with missing out Hawkeye. I just didn't really care. I didn't think it would be any good.
Yeah.
And most of the way through the first episode as well, I was like, I don't really think I missed out on anything. But I was totally wrong, and I loved the show.
Yeah?
I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah?
really enjoyed it.
Good. How about you, Tyler?
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was. You guys know, the audience knows. Like, obviously, I'm a massive Marvel fan, but I'm also a very big fan, specifically of the more grounded characters.
Yep,
Your
yep.
Captain America's, Falcon Winter Soldier. So I'm a big fan already of Clint.
Yeah.
As a character. So I was really excited for Hawkeye. And I love the vibe because it didn't try to take a too serious spy approach and try to compete with like a Falcon Winter Soldier.
Right.
It has enough of its seriousness as Clint the character needs, but he's also a family man, so they're able to add that softness to it,
Yeah,
and
fully
that
agreed.
comedy and that comic book feel, and it made it believable for Clint as a character because we've seen so much seriousness from him, yes, but we've also know he's a family man, and we can sort of combine that innocence into his life as a father figure and explore it way more, and they did exactly that in this. Did something that felt unique to the MCU.
Yeah.
Like it really felt like it something that hadn't been done before. Like it really did. So I absolutely loved it. I didn't just love Clint. I loved Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld nailed it. And honestly, heading into this next generation of Marvel, one of my, if like not top 3 favorite characters is actually Yelena. I love
Yes.
Florence Pugh, the actress.
Yeah.
I have such a crush on her.
For sure.
And I think she's incredible she's an incredible actor already from everything else she's in. But I loved Yelena. She's the best and probably only good part about the Black Widow movie for me.
Oh, for sure.
And she was so good in this again as well. And her and Kate Bishop together were phenomenal. I can't wait to see more from all of these characters. And if that's not what the point of these shows are to do, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I want to just add to that. So, one, you're right, Yelena's amazing. I would say one of the better Marvel characters outside of, like, you know, the grounded Avengers, you know. 2, I've always been the guy that was like, you've got Hulk, you've got Captain America, and a guy with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And they flat out address it.
Yeah.
You know, like even with Kate Bishop, she's like this guy who took like a stick and a string and fought aliens. You know, like they talk about it. And from seeing this, it was nice to watch Clint do some just real world field craft. Like,
Yeah.
it was nice, and I actually feel like Hawkeye is a better character, and I can see how he's an Avenger more clearly now than from the movies, because he is just a guy with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And those movies are mostly about combat. And the fact is, Clint's skill set is much more similar to Black Widow's. They're like intelligence officers and spies, and I really appreciated that. And then thirdly, the last point is now you're on the cards with Haley Steinfeld because you're Jewish, bruv.
There you go.
Oh, I'm also a big fan of Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
Don't get that. Let's not get that twisted.
That's
She's
right.
gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Couple beautiful women. Haley Steinfeld, Florence Pugh.
I got to say as well, I also felt that their like bromance, if you will, actually worked really well because there was a huge power dynamic, which is that at any point Yelena could just kill her.
Snapper.
Right, but she is also a very potent character in her own right.
Yeah.
And so they got to have this like well, I guess if you wanted me dead, I would be dead already sort of thing. So we'd just be honest with each other, and then it just gets friendly. And even when they're fighting, it's like, oh, that was pretty good. And, oh yeah, thanks. I worked really, I actually loved that whole little dynamic. It was great. What about you, bruv? How did you find it?
I liked the show as well. It was very. I was cautious going into it because, like you guys are big fans of your grounded characters and whatnot. I'm more of the fantastical characters and what, especially when it comes to superheroes. I want my heroes to be really big and like show off some big superpowers and whatnot. And I've always had that feeling, like you said, about like he's just a guy with a bow and arrow.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The cool like. Not looking like something's whizzing behind him and he just puts his bow back and shoots. Yeah. That's a cool thing, right? That's cool. And that's the kind of thing that I like. I was like, oh, he's got some next level of kind of accuracy. That's cool right there. But seeing
but he's not your first pick in the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when it got to the parts of like, him breaking down, like especially the stuff that he did during the snap and whatnot, and how that broke him down as a person, and how he needed his wife to come back to bring him back up, and his relationship coming back up again of Natalie, exactly, and how that came up. I was like, this is the best part of Hawkeye. Yeah. Yes. And then all these extra characters and then the big reveals at the end and things like that. Yeah. Those are all very, very cool. I like the show.
Were you shocked that the villain was really Hydra?
You know what? I was at the beginning. I was like, I wonder how many times Sheps thought the Hydra was going to come in. It's like,
called it since WandaVision.
Sheps actually messaged me and he said, this guy with the mustache, he's a Hydra guy. Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, well, let's go deeper then into this. Seems we've all spoken about stuff that we like. What was like the standout bits of this whole show? Because we are talking like over the top. We haven't got enough time to talk about everything in detail.
I think my favorite, if I was going to pick like a scene, let's say, for example, there's two scenes that stand out to me as my favorite scenes from the show. One's fun and one's serious.
Okay.
So the fun one, when Kate Bishop and Yelena meet with the mac and cheese. Yeah. That's got to be up there with favorite scene. Them in the elevator was really good too, but like I just felt like that first interaction together was phenomenal. Yeah. For all those reasons you were explaining, Sheps, with the power dynamic and just who they are as people.
Quick little funny thing to interject here. I was watching this with my girlfriend and she loves mac and cheese as well from like the box like they do. And she was like, you see, it's all us hot women. And I was like, yes, it is, babe. Yes, it is.
That mac and cheese has a very specific taste and some people just love that specific taste.
I'm not. I mean, I'm alright. I mean, I'm indifferent to it.
I gotta be honest. I'm one of those guys. I'm like, mac and cheese is sort of like a side. Like, it's to me, it's a great thing with other stuff. Like, I would add a bunch of stuff to it.
But some girls just love it. Yeah, exactly. It's their thing. Anyway, go on. Sorry to interrupt you there.
I feel like mac and cheese is something you'd have as a kid. I'm never gonna have mac and cheese again.
Exactly.
And that's how I feel about it. But anyway, the other standout scene to me was Clint going to the Avengers Memorial from 2012 and his speech to Natasha. That to me was the standout Clint scene, and then the Kate Yelena stuff together. I felt like they made each other's characters. Like there was some, obviously Kate and Clint together were fantastic, but there's so much of it. It's hard to pick one standout moment. Obviously there's fun stuff from like them putting the suits on together that she'd organized. The role playing game when Clint was dressed up and LARPing. Doing the sword scene.
LARPing,
the LARPing, that's what it's called. And then obviously Clint and Yelena's scene at the end was such an important payoff as well. Like there's a lot of great scenes
for that.
So well.
Like
she may have been the best part of the whole show.
I think she may have been, but like I love that scene where she's not just like, oh, you feel bad. She's like, no, I blame you for killing my sister, and she's all I have in the world. So I'm gonna take this out of your hide, And then eventually he does manage to get through that. Actually, there's more to this, but it's after a whooping. Oh, whooping.
Yeah.
So I really liked that scene. I appreciated it, that it wasn't just, oh no, she told me all about you. Like, you're an intelligence officer, you could know all about me anyway.
What were your favorite?
Exactly. There was.
Did you finish up your points?
I did. I just wanted to throw one last thing in there. Like, for as much as I praise this show and I love this show, it's definitely not perfect.
Yeah.
It's just exactly what it needed to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the best Marvel show, certainly not the worst. It's a really fun one that I enjoyed, but like, some of the other villains were pretty forgettable.
Yes.
You know,
I was actually
when
just going to say that right now. I think I should say right here. Maya. She seemed to be very unresolved in the end. It was like she had this big beef.
I would say terrible.
Got disarmed and then was like, that was it. I was like, so what was that? What else? Come on.
I'm glad to see I converted Tyler on one awful female.
Yeah, exactly. Now, is it a Jewish thing?
It's not because she's a female. It's just because. It's just because
Jewish people hate women. That's it.
Oh God, yeah.
So Maya was a terrible villain, and like the big villain at the end. This is spoilers. Kingpin's great.
Yeah.
I cannot remember that guy's name, but he's a fantastic actor. I loved seeing him. I actually wasn't expecting it for some reason when I fully know who runs New York, but whatever. That was all great. Maya just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I do genuinely think that they got lazy with her and just ticked boxes. So like, she's an amputee, she's deaf, is she Native American? Her dad, that guy's Native. That actor, I know him from other stuff.
Yeah.
He's great, by the way. They should have had way more of her dad. He's so talented.
And she seemed unnaturally strong, but for no reason.
Right. And
I don't really understand. It's not like she had super serum or something like that. She's out of nowhere.
I wish she had been super, or like minorly super.
I get being able to kick with your metal leg because you have no feeling in it, but she seemed to be able to kick people across the room, and I was like, that doesn't make no sense. Right. What's going on here? Is there something more? Tell me there's something more. That's cool.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. It was
and like I said, like she's a gangster, and then she wants revenge, but then she doesn't get revenge. And then she's like, oh, I actually need revenge on somebody else. And it didn't work. It was poor.
And in the end, she didn't get anything in the end. It was just so strange.
Yeah, it was poor.
And I'd heard so much about Kingpin for so long from fans, like, Kingpin's amazing, and then he was just so bad, and this was like, he's not good. The three main characters were just so strong that it made up for all the terrible, like, villain writing in the show. Not terrible, but just not good. Just forgettable villain writing in the show.
I think Kingpin's a bit of an odd one because he's an odd character. Is he actually superhuman? Or is he big and is just immensely strong written in the comics that way?
He's definitely... I don't think it's ever said, but I would consider him a mutant. Sort of like, Blob.
Yeah.
He's like that guy. He's way too big and strong and tough.
This is the ambiguity because, first of all, we haven't had that much Kingpin in movies in general or even shows
really
and
Daredevil.
whatnot.
And
exactly.
That was Netflix.
Exactly. But this was the first time it was done. So it's the same character for those of you guys that haven't watched Daredevil. This is the same Kingpin, and that's the reason why it's a big deal.
Punisher,
not that it's because it's Kingpin.
Yeah.
Because they've got that Kingpin back, and arguably the best version of Kingpin we've had. But Kingpin himself is just like so you're the boss of the whole of New York. You're like a mob guy, but also you're superhuman. But we don't know that. But we do. But your guy took an arrow to the chest.
Kingpin's a great villain.
Brushed it off.
Kingpin's a great villain because he's not out in the open. He's a mafioso. He runs things from the shadows, even though he's big and tough and could run the streets. That's what makes him as a character good. It was poorly done in this. It was cool to name drop Kingpin, but giving him real screen time didn't really make a lot of sense, and it wasn't particularly great.
They made a big mistake sorry, Ty, let me just get this one point out. They made this big mistake with that. They assumed everybody knew who this Kingpin was from Daredevil. Yeah. Because in Daredevil, which, Tyler, you should definitely watch. I highly recommend it. Like, you haven't been recommended 1,000 times.
No.
He hasn't.
It's quite good.
And the joke is everyone recommends it for him now. Cool. In that, they progressed his character and they showed why, because I don't know if anyone understood, but he's a bit of a social outcast, even though he's quite odd. He's weird and he doesn't look at people correctly, and his eye twitches and he doesn't speak properly and stuff like that. In the show, they're like, oh, so but he actually has a soft side, and he has a bit of an OCD problem as well. He has this weird...
the character's developed way better.
Exactly.
In Daredevil,
in this, they just chuck him in. It's like, he's a weird guy, go at it. It's like, but that's not a cool... You don't know about it yet.
And a lot of the Avengers, like the movie fans, don't know about Kingpin. They don't know about like the comic side of stuff. They only know what they're shown from the big screen, which is fine, but it means you have to intro a villain.
I flew out of my seat, like the way that, spoilers for No Way Home, the way that we got Charlie Cox in there.
Oh yeah.
I was like, shit, this is Kingpin, this is Kingpin.
Me and you were in the cinema. We were like, oh, and the rest of the cinema was silent.
Silent, like, who the fuck's that?
Yeah, they were like, what are these two idiots cheering about? And then he catches the Rock, and people were like, what? And we were like, oh, he's dead, Alan! So anyway.
I'm so glad I was in a good cinema seeing No Way Home for the first time. Like, I had a great crowd.
Ours was actually pretty good. Most people
Charlie
actually cheered.
Did you hear about Charlie Cox?
What?
He went into a random cinema and he sat down for the bit where he turns up in the beginning, and he was super happy, and his wife was recording him to like catch all the cheers and his reaction, and apparently he turns up on screen. Dead silence. Yeah. Fucking that's tumbleweed. So and he was like, and he only
went because he'd heard that the reactions were so good.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't go assuming the reactions were good. Everyone was telling him, dude, everyone's losing their mind that you showed up. And he's like, fuck, all right, I'll go see it.
That's so sad.
I'll go to a cinema.
I love Charlie Cox, so he's brilliant. He's so good.
Guy. And he just got burnt like that. It was so bad.
Do you know, speaking of the side characters, right, and villains, not villains necessarily, but I sort of liked Jack in this.
Which one was Jack?
The guy that is dating Kate's mum.
Oh yeah, Jack.
I thought he grew what he's.
I grew him in the end. Yeah,
I thought he was supposed to be our big bad or the villain. Obviously, he's pitched that way at the beginning, and I thought he was great.
I saw straight.
I thought he was a great villain. But like, the ironic
I see what you mean.
The ironic thing is that they pitch him as the villain, and I'm like, okay, it's obvious. It's only 6 episodes long, so obvious is fine.
Yeah.
The best writing for a villain was a guy who turned out not to be the villain. He was the best villain, and he wasn't even the villain.
I agree. He would have been a good villain because they actually took time to set up a villain with him.
Yeah, he was great.
But because it was the big switcheroo, I think is I knew from the beginning. You know how like I called the power broker?
Yeah.
I knew straight away. I was like, yeah, she's definitely the bad bitch over here.
Oh, I will
straight
say,
away.
I called
the mum's definitely the bad one here.
I
Come
called
on.
Mum is the villain from episode 1 with my chick, and she was like, no way. You know how I did that? I do this thing. She's like, there's no way. Final episode. She's not really the big bad, but she's evil. And I'm like, I told you.
He was like, she's Hydra. I can tell you right now. Oh, God. What do you think about the tracksuit mafia?
They were all right.
Yeah?
They were okay.
They were just fine.
They were funny.
They
That's
were
what
adequate.
It was.
Yeah, they were funny.
Yeah.
And I will say, I liked Yelena and Kate's sort of talk while we fight, but we're kind of friendly thing.
Yeah.
It didn't really make sense for that one guy who like she gave the dating advice to. It like he's trying to kill her. It didn't really work. But the main mob guy talking to his dudes, that comedy makes sense. So that was handled in some parts. It was pretty good. In other parts, it wasn't. And they were a placeholder villain. It was less about fighting your way through a thing than it was about Clint trying to problem solve. And every time he shuts one door, 2 more open up, and that was really the point. On that note, because the original question was what your favorite scenes, I fully agree about Yelena and Kate with the macaroni. That was one of the best, but I disagree with the speech to Nat, although that was really good. My favorite scene with Clint was when he is sitting down and Kate starts asking about Nat.
Mine too. That was my favorite one.
That was like the most human moment.
That was really good.
I loved that so
I just
much.
feel like feel like you felt that you coming from the previous one.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like him, I don't know. I forget which order they came in. Which was first?
I think the Nat one was right at the end. I think it was the last episode.
That was at the end. Yeah. That was at the end. The talking to the memorial was at the end. I also quite enjoyed him at the very first scene having to leave the play.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I really loved actually about the show is that Clint Barton's a human being, so he has hearing damage from all the explosions, and he has.
I wanted to mention that as well. Yeah, how good was learning a bit more about that with the sign language and the hearing aid and everything.
That was really good, and this is where my thing with Maya ticking boxes, where like she says to him, "Oh, you know, your hearing could actually be a strength," and it never comes in ever again.
I was expecting it to,
and also so was I, and also. Generally speaking, losing something doesn't. It works for Daredevil, but he actually gains a bit like true sight. He can see in the dark because it's echolocation.
Yeah.
So he gets something in return. Just losing a sense is never normally a good thing.
I was half expecting it to. Eventually they would like break down this argument
Or there'd be
they're
like
having,
smoke or something,
and then they would work together, or she would teach him something, and I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Now it's a cool, useful thing. But it never came up again. I was like, so what's the point of that?
It was weird, but I love the fact that this also my second favorite scene for Clint is actually not that play, which I did like, because he's having PTSD, and it's like, look, this stuff weighs on you, and he's lived a life of actions that weigh on him, but the thing that really is dragging him down is losing someone that he didn't want to. Is Nat, when he wasn't strong enough to save her.
That play was god fucking
It
awful.
was terrible, wasn't it?
The way, on top of it being, it was low budget, but somehow on Broadway.
Yes.
It was on Broadway, but somehow made on a budget of $5.
I loved that musical.
It was great.
It was amazing.
It was trash,
but
it was great.
Do you know what I said? I was
no, I thought it was great. I thought it was so great.
No, I tweeted out. I said, I was like, this is the reason why we can't have superheroes in real life, because humans will somehow turn it into the most awful fucking thing in the world.
Corporate immediately. But so, just to round out my stuff on Clint, my second favorite scene from him is when his son calls and he thinks it's his wife, but his hearing aid's broken.
Yeah.
And so him and Kate, he's like, oh no, it's a little boy. Oh, he says this, and he's like, it just, for some reason, that scene really told me how much this line of work has cost Clint.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched any of it since it aired.
Cool.
So you're reminding me of all these great fucking scenes, and I'm like, that is such a great scene.
Yeah,
such a great scene.
I mean, there are a lot of really good scenes in it, like great scenes, but also they're weighted differently. Like, this isn't Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, this isn't that speech with Bucky about, not speech, but that discussion with Bucky about like race relations and stuff. It's not meant to be. It's much less serious. It's much more of almost a Christmas movie type feel. So actually, this is just adult Home Alone. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah, with Kate Bishop sort of Home Alone.
Right.
Yeah. It really is.
So,
there's like, we've never had a Marvel MCU Christmas movie. Not this is a movie, but you know what I mean. Like,
it was good.
There was elements to this that felt different. Like, I feel like they nailed this. I genuinely look back on Hawkeye and I think it's a really great show.
Yeah, me too.
Really good.
Me too.
Really good. In spite of sure, there's some flaws to it, but there's just so much good about the themes explored, the atmosphere, the vibe of like feeling a bit different with the comic booky. It's like, I don't know, it felt a lot more comic book than some previous stuff, even with these characters. Like a Clint, really humanizing. Really, and there's really powerful stuff in there. The perfect balance that Marvel can really nail between the comedy and the seriousness. And I just think it did it so well. And your characters, like obviously Kate and Clint were so good, but Yelena added so much to the show. So many more layers to this show that this show would not be nearly as good in my mind if Yelena wasn't a part of the story.
Yeah, fully agree.
Like, it just wouldn't be as good.
That was a good twist.
She added so much.
That was a good twist.
When she
I knew she was in it. I'd heard, like, I mean, well, you assumed she was in it. Yeah. And I remember her posting on Instagram when the first trailer dropped that she's like, oh, I can't wait for you guys to see this. And I'm like, oh, they've confirmed she's in it, but she deleted it like an hour later. So, like, she was supposed to be a big surprise, but I knew that I was just waiting for it. I kept saying to my brother, because we'd watch it every Wednesday night, get home from work, be like, all right, 5 o'clock is when it hit midnight, I think. Whenever it drops. So I was like, straight away, get home from work, watch it. And I kept saying, this is the moment, Yelena, when she's showing up. And they just did so well with her, not just to have her be a side character, but the next once I revealed her in that next episode, we got to see what happened to her in the blip.
Yeah.
Yes. As
well. That was a cool as well. It's just like in 1 second, like 5 years go by, and she comes out and sees that woman. She's like, what the fuck happened? It's like, oh, you're here. Oh, and then she seems less shocked though, which is a bit strange. Just like,
which one?
The woman with the kid and whatnot, the one that she comes to save, I guess.
Well, I guess she knows that I don't know, man.
But she comes back. If she goes away, you'll be like, oh, okay, I've had time to process it. But coming back, it's like, whoa, you just appeared, and literally right now, straight away. What was I going to say? You know, I have that dumb ability when something gets spoilt for me, my brain forgets it, and then
lucky,
and then I can experience it for the first
crazy.
time.
Yeah.
I had it.
Crazy.
I had it with
He's
Han
done it
Solo
multiple
dying
times,
in Star Wars:
Yeah.
The Force Awakens. I was like, oh my god! Oh wait, that was the spoiler I saw. I got the shock and then remembered.
God,
I had it with this.
So jealous of that.
I had it with this
That's
because
so weird.
obviously people started talking about it weeks after the show aired, and I was like, "Oh, Kingpin's in it! Oh my god! Oh wait, I did see that somewhere.
I knew that.
So this happened. This happened. So
Do you know the funny thing about it is I do feel like the weakness of the show was the villains, and not just that they were weak villains, but like that whole thing at the end with the with like all of the tracksuits turning up.
Yeah.
I felt like that was one of the weakest parts of the whole show, but the thing prior to it, where they're sort of getting attacked in the skyscraper, that was really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the villains were handled really poorly, but luckily they weren't the focus. You know, it wasn't the point.
The way they turned up as well, it was almost like for a second they turned into a really well-oiled and coordinated machine. And I was like, hold on a second, you just dudes in a tracksuit with a trust a bro truck you're driving around. You guys aren't this organized.
Well, also they rip off a black market auction, which at the beginning they make out like this is a pretty serious auction, presumably by some people that are very well connected at best, if not like organized crime at worst.
Yeah.
So they find out about this, they go in, they get some really specific stuff, and then they're just back to being weirdos that do moving when they're not robbing stuff.
They are properly like not Z, but maybe like Y level villains, and they're like, we got something, but not a lot.
They're one step up from that guy who's mugging someone in Spider-Man and runs down the alley, and then he goes and beats him up and gets the guy's wallet back. They're one step up from
step up from
that. They weren't the best villains, and that definitely contributed to the last episode and the lack of tension in the fight scenes. The fight scenes, thankfully, were just very visually well choreographed to watch and enjoy for fun. But there's certainly no major tension in this show.
None at all.
Like, it's certainly, like, even with Yelena, I at no point was I sitting there like, Yelena's not going to kill Clint. No way.
know.
We like Yelena. It's just going to, I would actually be like, I'd hate that. But then again, maybe it would have been good for that to have happened because it would have been like this big shock. But everyone wants to love Yelena. Everyone wants to love Florence Pugh. So it's just, it'd be hard for fans, I think, to watch Yelena kill Clint and be like, but we like her.
It would be an Abby thing all over again.
I have one issue with Yelena.
Cool.
Her rage against Clint was too much. I feel like I get what she's coming from. It's like her sister, and she's like really angry about that. But she wasn't. It wasn't the rage where like she just saw her sister be in his arms and assumed she killed and then ran over to try and kill him. She's had enough time to think about this, and she's done so many other smart things and calculated moves and research and stuff like that to just be like, well, that's it. I'm still, regardless of any evidence or regardless of, I don't want to hear anything from anyone else. I'm still gonna kill Clint because that's it. He's the guy that killed my sister.
But I also think Yelena wanted to believe it was Clint because Yelena's been jealous of Clint for years.
Yeah, that's the
jealous of.
That's the point.
That's part of the. She almost wanted to believe that he betrayed her and that she was the only one that could look after.
I see.
You know,
I think
Natasha.
it's quite deep because
I think it's quite deep.
Natasha
as well.
just dies, she just lost her sister. But if Clint's the reason that she died, then she has someone to take it out on.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter.
And she already had that jealousy because she even said,
she said you got so much time with her.
With her, you got so much time with her. There's a jealousy there. There's a real depth to why she's angry.
She wants to take it out on Clint that he got so much time with her sister that she got to live a life that Yelena didn't. That she's gone now.
I love how important Natasha's death was to this show.
Yes,
I've loved if there's anything I've really enjoyed about a lot of these Disney Plus shows is how important Avengers Endgame is to every single one of these Disney Plus shows, because Loki started from Endgame, WandaVision's consequences were the fallout of Endgame, and Infinity War, like that whole section. Yep. Obviously, Falcon Winter Soldier's direct carry on from what happened to Steve. This is direct follow on to like Clint's character and Natasha's death in Endgame and what that leads for them. Like, I've really loved the impact of the major Avengers and what happens in Endgame. Obviously, Spider-Man as well did that in Far From Home. right after Endgame. So I've just really been enjoying exploring the characters, what happened during the blip, what happened after the blip, what was it like for the people that were blipped. That's one theme that they're doing it so well of Marvel, that when they did this blip and they did it like they're taking it so seriously that everything needs to address it. You can't ignore this at major event, and I really enjoy that. It makes it feel really well. Like the continuity is brilliant with just how much they do. So I've just really enjoyed that aspect to it, and Natasha being so important to the show was so good.
I almost wish they didn't make Black Widow. Not just because it was shit, but because her loss, Nat's loss, feels so much more potent from this.
Yeah.
It's just that we wouldn't know Yelena.
That's the
truth.
I look back on Black Widow and I'm thankful it happened because of Yelena.
Maybe they just need to do a better Black Widow.
Also, I do think...
Well, I'd love to see another Black Widow movie.
I actually would
Yelena.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's a show, but I'd love a movie. Why not make another Black Widow and Yelena stars following you and have Clinton and Kate in it?
Yeah,
and Scarlett Johansson can sue Disney again.
Exactly.
You're not going to have a Captain America 4 without Bucky. You know what I mean? So I feel like you with this character now, Yelena's character, why she's involved in the MCU is her connection to Natasha, but now her character no longer has a tether to our main universe. But she's now been tethered to Clinton, Kate. So I don't think that tether's going to be broken and Yelena's going to show up in a bunch of places. I think she fits into this circle of characters. There's like where you see Yelena, you'll see Kate, you'll see Clint. Perhaps they'll be in Captain America 4. I could see that because obviously the Cap movies are very big. So I feel like they'll throw a few things in. It won't just be, Sam and Buck, but I think you'll have a few, the same way you had Black Widow in the Winter Soldier film.
Yeah.
You might have a Yelena or a Clint, you know what I mean? Or both, sort of thing.
I'm calling it now.
Hydra.
Falcon. I was going to say.
Well, it is. But,
Falcon
Valerie's the lady Hydra. So you are right, Sheps. You do know that,
I've always been right.
I think Falcon and Elena need to get together in a movie and then start shipping them together. There we go.
To be honest, the big romance that's no one's talking about is Bucky and Sarah. Is it Sarah?
I think it's Sarah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, it is Sarah.
We need to have a full-on Disney show just on their relationship.
I fully agree.
Fully on that.
I am 100% down. I think it should be. I think it should be a regular series with 24 episodes.
I'm genuinely not joking about that as well because that whole little thing was done so well. The thing also about Yelena needing a bigger part, which I think makes a lot of sense, is that Clint. And I don't think it was done very well in Black Widow. But Clint says, just before he gets the reveal that it's Yelena, this whole thing has changed. Somebody's hired a Black Widow. And this is a dude who's facing down organized crime, gangs, potentially Kingpin. And now he's like, no, it just got serious as a Black Widow.
Black Widow assassins.
Right. Yeah. And that also, you've got an Avenger saying, no, the game's totally different. There's a Black Widow on the board now.
Yeah, he made it really. Yeah, you're right.
He did, and also it almost like adds credence to why Scarlett Johansson Nat was so powerful and was able to do so much, because this is an Avenger who's willing to face down all of organized crime in New York, who's like, whoa, there's a Black Widow here. This, and don't get me wrong, Nat was the Black Widow, but this is a Black Widow. Like you this is totally serious. I can't be near you. Everyone's gonna die. Like this is an Avengers level threat kind of thing.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're like, okay, Yelena really does have some skills that make her potent. She is able to go after an Avenger, like, okay, like, so we've established that she's totally viable as an Avenger level entertainer, to focus. So like, I'm down. Let's get some Yelena. Let's
go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go.
I would happily see though a Hawkeye season 2 with all these characters.
Yes.
If this could definitely be one of those shows that gets a second season.
Question.
Because where else are they going to show up? I honestly think the only place they can show up is Captain America 4.
Yeah.
Like, what other movie are they going to show up in? I think if they don't do Hawkeye season 2, they're in Cap 4. That's done. And that includes Yelena,
I want
Kate,
to see them in
Clint,
movies.
all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rolex.
I do too.
I was just going to say that. So let's talk about the big bit at the end. The whole thing was that this whole thing started off was there was a Rolex being sold at an auction. Get the Rolex. Everything else is secondary. They fight tooth and nail to get this Rolex. They eventually get it, and then it goes back to Clint's wife.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, I'm always picking up your things, always getting your stuff back." And it turns out it's hers. Flip it over, and there's a Shield logo on the back of it.
Yeah.
So she's more than just Clint's wife now. It looks like she was one of the big members of Shield. Now, what do we think about that?
Tyler, thoughts?
She's Peggy's daughter.
My question is, I'm going to be honest with you. I was about to say, not necessarily Peggy, but I think she's related to one, because when you look back at, let's say, the introduction of Ant-Man, you see Shield in that film, and you see like there's a board of directors, there's really important people involved at the top level of Shield when it was founded, and for her to have that sort of item and not have been mentioned and be in secret, like, it would not surprise me if she's Steve and Peggy's daughter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That would be sick. And I would be so down
Could
for
you?
that. I would be so down for that. Oh, they have to write. That's
Could-
got to be it.
Dude,
That's gotta be it.
What a
That's
twist,
got to be it.
dude.
If that happens,
What a twist, dude.
If that happens, then there's gonna be we're gonna have to go back to all of the other movies and see all of the interactions with like Steve Rogers coming into the house and looking like, is she looking at him in a way?
He wouldn't know. I need to look it
He
up
wouldn't
now.
know yet.
No, if she was looking at him, like she's just going.
But
Obviously, she
she-
can't say it.
yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
She can't say it because that ruins everything. So
and
it's
then
like,
also,
so,
at the time, you'd be like, well, it's Captain America. Of course she's going to be looking at Captain America. Look at him.
But maybe she doesn't know. Maybe like Steve's life that he lived, it was very like
possible.
Yeah, maybe.
you know, low key.
Also,
she might just think, oh, he looks like my father.
Yeah,
know?
maybe. And I kind of.
But she's in Shield now. She knows. She definitely knows.
Yeah, she would know if she's in Shield, right?
She would know. She would know.
I quite like the idea of her being in Shield and knowing like fieldcraft and stuff, because then it makes sense for her and Clint.
Yeah.
Because if she's just a lady,
She also handles it so well.
right? Exactly. If she's just a lady, like, there's all these stressful events, and her husband's an Avenger, but like, what happens when the threat comes home? Because the kind of work he does, it's definitely gonna. And now, well, what happens when the threat comes home? You got someone Black Widow level or somewhere around there, like Agent Carter level, to handle it.
Yeah.
You know, she can handle the home. So if any of his, collateral damage comes that way, she's got it.
She's gonna handle it.
Right, and she knows.
That'd
Like
be cool.
she says a bunch of times, she goes, "You don't have to ask me permission. I trust your judgment."
Yeah.
Like, and not in a "I'm your wife," but like it kind of sounded like, "I trust your judgment. Professionally, I respect you."
Yeah.
And I might be reading
but
into
what she says is, Clint's wife. Why am I forgetting her name? Why am I blanking on her
I
name?
can't remember. Her
I
name
can't
at all.
remember either. You know.
I'll look up. But the first thing she says to Steve and all of them when they walk in, she goes, "I know who you all are." That's what she says. So it's not like, obviously they didn't plan it back then, but it's not
Laura Barton.
written in a way that it wouldn't make sense. Like you could make it make sense, and it wouldn't. You could watch back and be like, well, it doesn't not fit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it
Like,
also now makes sense
she doesn't-
why she's totally okay with like the Avengers on the run
What he
just coming
does.
to their home. You know, like these are the most wanted people in the world after the thingy Accords, and she's like, "Yeah, like
Dude,
bring him to the farm."
wow, dude. Wow. And imagine her showing up in Cap 4, especially because her cousin is the fucking Shadow Broker, whatever the fuck.
Shit! They gotta do this.
Her cousin's the power
What are you
broker.
doing?
Yes, yes.
This is how we find out. This is how we find out.
We've just
they
uncovered
face
it all.
off, and you find out that, and she goes, and they know each other because they're cousins,
Yes.
bro.
She's like, "Oh, my
They
cousin's
both worked for
connected."
Shield.
Yeah, my cousin's connected.
And then you
Let
find
me-
out that she's fucking
Yes.
Steve and Peggy's
Oh, mate.
daughter,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. I'm
you
100%
kidding me,
down for
dude?
this. I'm 100% down
Are
for
you
this.
kidding me,
We've
dude?
just uncovered Kevin Feige's plans throughout the whole MCU.
The worst thing is, I bet he hasn't thought of this, and this is
Are
a
you
better idea.
kidding me,
Dude, steal the idea. Kevin, I know
Steal
you
it,
watch
don't
all of
worry
our stuff. Steal the idea. I beg you.
Here
this
we
has
go.
to be what they do.
It's
I'll be
got
so
to be.
disappointed.
Because
if
what
this
else
isn't
could
what
that
it
mean?
is.
Why else show that?
What else would that mean? Okay, if she was, I was a part of Shield at one point. What, just a random agent as part of Shield?
A secretary, or an executive assistant.
Who else could she be related?
Even if she was an agent, okay.
The
And what? Like, there must be a significance to that. And is it just a coincidence that she doesn't look like Peggy Carter, but she's, similar sort of hairstyle. She's that sort of thing. I think there's definitely
she looks enough like Peggy.
Enough, right?
Really
Enough.
look at her.
I think that's what they're hinting at. That's what they're doing here.
None of it's unbelievable, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
None of it's unbelievable. It's not necessarily like this is obvious and has to be the case,
like
but it's not
conspiracy
unbelievable.
theorists where there's like,
wow, guys! I tell you what, I
just
didn't
did
expect us
some
to.
digging.
I didn't expect us to uncover this.
Here we go.
We nailed this, I think. Also, I haven't found it yet, but I did just start up a quick search. Laura Barton maiden name to see if it's Carter.
Maiden
or
name.
Yeah,
go
what's
on.
her maiden name? I haven't found it yet.
Put it on. Go into the Wikipedia page. Edit it in.
Yes.
Laura Carter is her maiden name.
I don't even want you to look it up though, because I don't want it to be like, yeah, it's in the comics, actually well known. I'm like, oh damn it, like I don't want it spoiled.
Right.
Oh, okay. But
let's leave it for now.
This is classic Streamcast, where we come up with all the hot theories and all the hot stuff that goes forward. So yeah, if it happens in 2 years' time that she turns up to be,
lose my shit in the cinema, and I'll start like
when
we
when
freaking
we're watching
called
Captain
it.
America 4. When we're watching Captain America 4, and it makes sense because she's Captain America's daughter.
Right.
Like, of course she's in that movie.
Also,
facing off against the fucking power broker, her cousin.
Right. Family.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it's a family matter sort of thing.
And
right?
at the end, Sam combines all the Earth Avengers together because you've got Clint, Kate,
Right.
Yelena, Bucky, and obviously himself. Then they're the new Earth Avengers at the end of
Also,
Cap 4.
do we-
That's the movie, bro. That's the movie.
we'll get a cute husband and wife duo moment where they're fighting against whatever enemy there is. That would be so cute. Oh.
Also, we've never established that if someone with the serum has a kid, is anything passed down? Like, I was saying she was a professional, so like if any of the threats come home, she can handle it.
Yeah.
What if she's half super or something? She'd be even more super than he is Jewish.
Yeah.
Well, that's debatable. We don't know how. You know what I mean?
Well, really, we need to find out if Laura Barton's circumcised.
That's what we do need to find that out. We do need to find that out.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
God.
She might be one of us. I'm pretty sure she is one of us.
One of us.
One of us.
I'm pretty sure she's. What do you mean? One of us.
Let me read a few comments that we had on.
I have Jewish blood in my veins, and that's undeniable. It's actually undeniable. It's actually undeniable. That's a fact.
It is undeniable. It's yeah.
Is it? Am I wrong, Sheps? Tell me. Where's the lie, bro?
I mean,
where is the lie?
I mean,
he
you're
didn't
not
do
wrong.
the DNA test personally, so we
That's
cannot
right.
confirm.
That's
cannot
right.
confirm. Reading from our Discord server, our boys wrote in just like you guys can by clicking that link in the description. Adam wrote in, he says, pretty good show, probably my favorite Disney Plus show so far. Much better than whatever fanfic Stitcher shitter season 2. He's talking about The Witcher season 2.
Right, yeah.
Was because he really hates The Witcher. But still not as good as Auntie Donna's big old fun house. This joke is dying, bro. Don't do it. And yes, that's my new rating system. Better or worse than Auntie Donna's big old house of fun. Thank you for writing in there, Adam. Do you want to pull up one of the things as well as in our Discord server? I'll read the next one. Diogo writes in, he says, not gonna lie, wasn't expecting this one. Good show all around, but it has its flaws for sure. Yelena was a standout with her relationship with Kate, as the two make a great duo. Action was pretty good for the most part too. Loved that it was a smaller scale story because it really fits with the type of character Clint is. The exploration into his guilt over Nat's death. Wait, she died? Spoiler alert, he says there. And him missing quality time with his family was crushing. That phone scene that we mentioned as well. Villains were so underutilized in Disney Plus. Need to stop throwing in surprise villains in the last episode. I don't hate what they're doing with Kingpin, but it just feels a bit pointless. Same with the Mum and Echo. Disney Plus needs to step it up with their villains. There we go.
Yeah,
I agree with that as well.
Actually,
the villains, especially.
I agree.
There's no villain in Wanda, really, except
Yeah.
that one douchebag fed.
Hold on. let's put this out there because the
Other than
trailer
Hydra.
came out. She's the villain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The trailer of Doctor Strange where she's like, when you use your magic.
Doctor Strange is the villain in Doctor Strange.
Well, hold on. She goes, Doctor Strange, when you mess around with the universe, you're a hero. When I do it, I'm the villain. I'm like, bitch, you held the whole town hostage.
Fair enough.
You can't play
Agatha. Remember Agatha.
Oh yeah, Agatha.
Agatha as well.
But like
Agatha.
hardly. But
It was Agatha all
kinda.
along.
It was Agatha.
That was
all
one
along.
of
There's
the
whole
best
song and Jingle Bell.
And then Falcon Winter Soldier, like the big bad is racism, and Carly, who they do too much to make her not a villain.
Yeah, she was a shit
She was
villain.
shit.
Very shit villain.
What are the other shows? I've forgot them now. We did all of them.
Loki.
Loki's amazing, and the villain is.
I thought Loki was okay.
I really enjoyed Loki.
I liked Loki. The
I
villain.
really enjoyed Loki for Tom. Tom
Yeah.
Hiddleston. Yeah, Hiddleston.
He's great.
He was
yeah,
amazing.
of course.
I loved that. And the big bad is what's his name?
The big bad is Kang the Conqueror, but it's not
he's
that
not-
version of
yeah,
Kang.
exactly.
Like it's not really
It's Kang,
a villain.
but it isn't really Kang.
Yeah.
And then it's her, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, I trust you, but I'm gonna betray you because I guess that's what Loki's do." That was no good.
Yeah.
What are the other shows? There's at least one more. What am I
What
forgetting?
if
Forget that.
that was just
never happened.
garbage? That
never happened.
Okay, yeah.
And that's it, isn't it?
That's it,
That's
yeah.
the shows. So like no villains so far. The villain
See,
is
I
like,
didn't mind. I mean, John Walker in
John Walker.
Falcon Soldier was incredible.
but then they give him too much
Incredible.
redemption.
Though he did have the what's that?
They gave him too much redemption.
He did have a bit of redemption, but you're going to see him back in Cap 4 as
Yeah.
in the Dark
But
Avengers.
as the villain, where
The-
he's
the,
like,
Lady Hydra's getting together.
yeah, the villain as a villain, he was amazing. Like where he's like looking in the broken mirror and stuff at his face, and his face is all twitchy. Like that was brilliant, and I was really looking forward to him being like almost that this Cap's Red Skull. But it didn't go that way. I thought that's the way they were going to angle it, and instead they're just going to make him agent.
I don't really think John Walker was that bad of a guy. He was fine.
John Walker did nothing
He
wrong.
did nothing wrong. I don't see anything he did wrong really. Just killed someone with his shield. Fucking the way the
With
fucking
the shield.
murdered someone in the street with Captain America's shield.
Just him. But it's just him being Captain America after Steve just make me physically ill.
Yeah,
Like
Desecrated
God.
his memory. There you go.
we did.
Oh, dude.
But
just how like
the villains have been
made me so
shit.
angry.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
Do you want to read the next one? Oh, Jesus
Alpha
Christ. actually, Alpha.
wrote in his dissertation, and it says, so I went in without any expectations. Didn't let my love of Arrow get in the way. I liked the show. It was okay. Could definitely have been better, but okay was good enough to beat all the other MCU shows last year. Except for Wanda. For Wanda the Vision, shut up, Tyler. You're just a Captain America stan. Even Hawkeye's villains were better than the Soldier and the Winter Falcon.
If he wasn't such a
well, that's
professional,
not true.
he would have jumped in and be like, "Oh, well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier."
Right.
But he's a professional, so that's why.
And that was really hard to read that, by the way, and not stutter, doing it back to front. It was a fun show with some good moments, but acting was poor. What? In the shoddy CGI, and I'm the guy who still can't see anything wrong with Superman, with the Superman mustache CGI.
What?
How can you not see that?
What? I don't even have words. How'd you say?
So he's like, so you know Hawkeye has to be awful. Fisk was terribly handled and didn't fit in with the tone of the story. So far as to make his acting seem off for the show. He survived too much in that very silly explosion scene. Definitely blind after the ending. He was much better in the Daredevil show. Big agree. Who gives pizza to a dog? It's a terrible idea. Oh yeah, I forgot they have a dog. Where did she get that dog?
That dog was nothing to that show.
She saved it. It was in the middle of the road, and she saved it,
Oh.
and then that was it.
So this is a trope.
Not that the dog should have been anything really big, but they put a lot of emphasis. They were like, "Can you look after my dog?
This
Can
is
you
a
do
trope
this?" It's like,
in filmmaking. It's called Save the Cat. It's to demonstrate you. It's we do it at the beginning of Batman vs Superman. You know, Bruce saves that little girl from the falling thing. It's to show
Right.
this guy will go out of his way to put himself in danger to save people that need saving.
that's
right?
why Batman vs Superman is a great movie. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
But so it's called Save the Cat. But she saved the dog, and like I get it, but we didn't. You don't need to keep the dog around.
Yeah,
You should have given it to your like cousin or something. And, oh, hey, you want a dog? Here's Lucky.
Yeah.
It was weird. That dog is definitely gonna die.
Nah.
The LARPers were fun. The musical was unironically the best part of the show.
No.
Other than the dusting scene, which was cool with that Yelena one. What dusting scene?
The dusting scene?
When she got the blip. When she got blipped.
Oh. Cool,
Okay.
cool.
When he says dusting, I imagine she went to her apartment, cooked mac and cheese, and then dusted. And I was like, did I miss that part?
I don't remember a cleaning part of this.
It's like, because women clean, that's what they do.
Right.
That's what they're for.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Alpha,
exactly.
you sexist.
Sexist.
He goes, glad I didn't have to watch Black Widow for this.
Yeah, you didn't. You're
Yes. Hawkeye is certainly different and tries to have that silly MCU tone, but Arrow remains a superior show, even if we just consider the first seasons of each. Nah, wrong. I will say this is much more similar to like the Ant-Man lightheartedness than it is like Avengers or anything.
I think what this show has is that it's not meant to be going on forever, whereas like Arrow's like it's one of those shows that's open-ended. Like it could go on until like.
And knowing CW, it will.
Exactly, far too long, and then it turns into the Flash, where people are fighting with lightning swords.
Wait, what?
There's a clip that's going around of the Flash, the Reverse Flash, and some other type of Flash that's white for some reason, and they've all got lightning swords in their hand, and they're like they're fighting it, not in fast speed. They're just they're just there.
Yeah, because the Speed Force gives you a lightsaber. Didn't you know?
They're just like, what is this? What is this?
CW is the worst thing about DC.
It's gotten so shit. It made gold with Smallville, and then they just went, nah, we're cool. We're done.
Just to wrap it up, he says, I wonder if Moon Knight will be the first to actually make a good show, not just an okay one. Not every show needs to have the same silly MCU humor and a fast pace that's too few in episode count for actual meaning and depth. However, Hawkeye did fit well with the pacing for the episode count. The Netflix shows, while slow, had much better pacing, which led to better depth, stakes, and even acting moments throughout the shows, particularly Daredevil. If you want superhero shows, watch those. The old animations or even DC shows like Doom Patrol, which is great, Watchmen and Smallville, and the other super shows. The MCU shows just don't compare yet. Supernatural's the best one, by the way.
There you go. Well, let's not talk about that. One thing I will mention, he mentioned Moon Knight here. This is something we need to discuss and decide. The Halo TV show and Moon Knight both air on the same week. They start airing at the same week. We have to decide as a Streamcast audience and host what we want to do, which one we want to do. Because I was thinking we'd do Halo, and then they go, oh, Moon Knight's coming at the same time. I'm like, well, shit, that's going to look cool as well.
The thing is, there is a much greater chance of a train wreck with Halo than with Moon Knight.
Which is kind of why I want to watch it.
Right. But it will also be very painful, and it will mean me and potentially Tyler
crying
and just beefing out whoever made that show. On the other hand, if it's gold, it will be amazing. Unlikely, but it would be. Yeah. But I also really want to watch Moon Knight.
I watch Moon Knight as well.
And I don't know if there's space for 2
Streamcast
episodes, and also that we don't have time.
Fuck it, let's just forget everything else. We'll quit our jobs. We'll do this full time. And fucked my nail up. Oh, sorry, I just hit myself. Ow! And we'll just do Moon Knight and Halo together. Done.
Yeah, I mean, guys, if you want that, talk to corporate. Tyler, his @ is, I don't know his @ no one talks to the guy.
No one talks to him.
You just okay the paycheck, we'll make the content.
Yeah, he needs to pay us, that's what he needs to do.
That's fine with me, that's true.
Wait, you guys are getting paid?
And our final comment from Mr. 56, thancefully not an essay like Alpha, sorry. I like the show, but I feel like it could have been better. It started out and great. Wait a minute. I think he's put way too many ands in here. It started out great and was getting better and better, but the finale kind of ruined it for me. I feel like... I like how Clint's trauma was dealt with him and Natasha and being best friends, and he had to watch a musical with her. Like, what the fuck, right? Bruv, I lost my best friend. One of my... You must assume all of the Avengers are your friends. How about don't send me free tickets to go watch her fucking prance around in a fucking $5 outfit? Jesus Christ. As the characters As for the characters, I liked Kate and Yelena, and I'm curious to see what Marvel will do with them in the future. Clint was good and may have moved to being my 5th favorite OG Avenger rather than 6th, now Hulk.
Hulk's always last in it.
Hulk's always last.
Hulk's
yeah,
trash.
agreed.
Hulk's
He got
trash.
100%.
He was
agreed.
okay in the beginning, and the anger thing was a cool move, but then they just turned him into Smart Hulk, and it was like...
When Hulk
right.
dabs, he died for me.
Dead.
Yeah, it was over. It was a slow death too. It wasn't like
Oh,
a
it was
quick-
painful.
The dab really.
It was
they
painful.
built towards that.
It was
dab.
painful. And then also, hyper genius Bruce Banner,
Yeah.
it becomes like Ant-Man level, silly, oh, we'll make it work. You're one of the smartest guys on the planet.
That scene really...
You made
hurt me.
Ultron.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh.
Anyway, he says Pizza Dog was cute as well. Jack Duquesne, I think I spelled that right, kept getting better and better, and I quite liked him in the finale. Echo and Kazi were okay throughout the first episodes, and they were then they were kind of just there. And now my main issue, Kingpin. I was so excited for the end of episode 5 when he was revealed, but then in episode 6, he wasn't good. Definitely not as good as he was in Daredevil. Tyler, if you're still here, you should watch Daredevil. For fuck's sake.
Is that actually written there?
Yeah, it's actually written there. I'm telling you.
because it's such a fucking, it's such a big thing for years. I said you need to pay me $1,000 and I'll watch the first season.
Is that real money or Australian dollars?
Dollary dues?
It's real money and it's to a charity of my choice. I'm
Okay.
not saying give me $1,000.
Right.
Charity of conversations.
I'll take it, but it's but I think it's pretty fucked up to ask for money from people, like without doing anything. Like I'm not doing. It's not like Patreon where I'm making content. I'm just watching a show they want me to watch.
Right.
You're doing something.
I'll do it, but
you're watching
charity.
a show.
I'd do it if you give $1,000 to charity.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Overall, I like the show and would say that it's the best Marvel Disney Plus show yet. Wow, that's some praise.
That's
right
pretty high
there.
praise, yeah.
Because after rewatching all of the others, they're just not as good. What I think makes these shows so good is the theorizing in between episodes and the cliffhangers at the end of each episode. That is a big part, and also.
Yeah.
The shows we watched, they were all cool, but I think us coming here every week, talking about WandaVision, talking
what made
about
it better,
Falcon Winter
yeah.
Soldier, that made it even better.
I agree.
All right, thank you for writing in, Mr. 56. Final bits. Where do we rank this show above all the other ones? Tyler, do you want to go first? Where do you put Hawkeye?
Yeah, sure. I put it up there with the shows. First for me is no question. We all know is Falcon Winter Soldier by far.
Surprise! Oh, fucking beat
Just the scale of this they don't really. This is the one least comparable, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen What If.
You're lucky.
I mean, I'm not going. Yeah, I know.
It's animated.
Loki
Who likes anything animated?
Right?
Loki, I reckon this might be second favorite. So we'll go Falcon Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, WandaVision, Loki. Is that it? Is there any other shows?
That's it.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah,
That's it,
all
yeah.
the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put Hawkeye at 2 then. A solid 2.
I thought you would.
How about you?
Yeah.
I don't think it's in the same list.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one that really applies. I know it feels like a cop-out answer, but
It does feel like a cop-out answer.
but like
Fucking cop out.
the stakes are so different. This and also like this was a Christmas movie, in a sense. It was Home Alone, right? It's not really. You wouldn't compare Home Alone to Die Hard and Predator. You know, they're just
right.
And that's why I feel like WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and Winter Soldier are all serious in their own different ways. They will deal with all these serious things, and then you've got this Christmas human story on the side. So I don't think they compare, but I would put it on like a separate list and really high up. I don't think it's probably my second favorite show. I'd probably have to say, oh man, but they're so different as well. Like I loved WandaVision and I loved Loki for very specific reasons about those characters, and I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier because it's like there's a bromance. I don't think they compare really well.
I get what you mean. As much as I am with Tyler, this is a cop-out answer. But I
It
do
is a cop-out answer.
I do understand what you mean, because the other ones, they have such like huge ramifications, especially to like the MCU and whatnot. Whereas this is kind of like its own thing on the side.
Right. It's a smaller scale thing. It's like it's a really exciting game of local football versus like a World Cup type thing.
Which you sort of love to see, you know what I mean? Sometimes
too.
you want that.
I actually
want
really,
that.
in terms of enjoyment, second maybe or second or third spot, but I really don't feel like if someone said what was your list, I wouldn't go like, you know, One Division, Falcon Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Loki or whatever. Like I don't feel like it would go on that list. I would go like, oh, I really loved Loki, but if you want something more lighthearted, totally aside, check out Hawkeye. That's how I would probably phrase it.
I would put. I do
First,
think One Division is the best. I do think One Division is the best one out of them, and then I'd put Falcon Winter Soldier.
If One Division, if they all the episodes came out at the same time, One Division would be higher.
Yes.
The problem was those first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I actually fully agree.
I enjoyed it.
I loved them personally. Did you go out watching like
Loved them
Bewitched
too,
and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I loved it as well. Yeah.
I liked it as well because it was a bit of nostalgia, and also there was at the end of every episode there was always this like one twinge of okay, something's not right here.
Right.
Something's not right, and I found that really alluring. But that's me personally. I think I'll put One Division first, Falcon and Winter Soldier, then I'll put Hawkeye, and then Loki after that, and then What If can go fuck off. I do think that they're all great.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like this list is like, well, Loki is dead last or
That's
something
what I was gonna
like
say,
that.
yeah.
I think it's like it's lower down because Loki at the end of the day it's what they set up Kang, and Kang was the big thing that was interesting about that. Everything else was kind of like, okay, this is a fun story and there's interesting sides to Loki, etc. Whereas this other stuff was just good in its own right. Like One Division was good in itself, Falcon and Winter Soldier was good in itself, and all that sort of stuff like that. I think it was awesome.
I don't think that is important though. This isn't like, oh, that means you think Loki's shit. Like, no, Loki's great.
Yeah.
But you think other ones for other reasons should go above it.
Yeah.
You know, like I would. If someone says, "Oh, I was going to watch Loki," do you think it's a waste of my time? No, I don't think it's a waste of time. Skip that one episode in the middle, and you're fine.
The fluff episode on.
I don't even remember. I barely remember. Like I loved Owen Wilson. I'm such a big Owen Wilson guy.
Oh, he should have got
really
way
enjoyed
more
him.
screen time.
You should have said wow when he
was
didn't.
so great in the show.
Yeah,
You should have said wow when he didn't.
he said how.
Yeah, fucking terrible. Anyway,
Now.
that is our wrap-up episode of Hawkeye. I think it went pretty well right there.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Good episode. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us on this episode. We're probably going to get you back for the future when Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out.
Kenobi,
Oh, dude.
Halo.
Are you kidding me, bro? Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
And this was the thing, man. I'm going to have to do my own, as always, streamcast type show when this Lord of the Rings show comes out. Because I would rather die than have to talk to you two about Lord of the Rings. Because imagine having to come on streamcast and talk to you two about Lord of the Rings show. I would want to.
Imagine he was saying you guys have to cover that show. I would have end your existence. Yeah, innit? I'll do me and then you.
Oh man.
Like, oh my god.
Fuck.
But I really think I feel like it's too much to ask you to commit to like the full weekly stuff for Obi-Wan, but we could do like try and get you in regularly.
I'll come on a few.
I like to get
I'll come
a
in a
few.
few.
Do you know what?
I
asked
mean,
James.
if whatever
Frick
won, I'm definitely dibs on the finale and
Yeah.
the first.
Cool.
How about that? Dibs on the finale and first.
for sure.
Because the amount of years the three of us, James involved, but the three of us have talked about Darth Vader and like this Obi-Wan show. I feel like we've been talking about this for years.
Full podcast where we were just chatting and we were friends by this point. We just organically made a Darth Vader movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I
need you at least for one and the finale for sure, yeah.
I asked James if he wants to be on it, and this was literally his answer. He was like, well, if the show's good, I'll come on. And be like, we don't know until we watch the show. How are you going to say that after the fact? We'll have done it by then. What the fuck?
And also...
I was like, we need commitment, bro.
Also, I think it's a good commitment to say, like, at least the first and the finale episode, because if it's shit, that's going to hurt me so bad that the rant...
Yeah, we need to have that, right? We need to have that discussion.
Right, and also...
I really don't think it's going to be shit, though. I really
either.
don't think it'll be shit. I think it's going to be fucking tremendous.
And
I think it's going to be out of this world good. We should also probably do if there's time, a week before preview predictions, like just nerd jizz fest before it as well.
I've learned my lesson after Cyberpunk. I can't say anything.
But I will say the Disney Star Wars shows have been...
That was rough.
It was a bad time. It was rough.
You spent so much money on Cyberpunk themes.
And
that's what I felt bad about. Like, man, it's like all the merch, posters, a new PlayStation or whatever it was with it. I'm like, bro, you're fucking
hardcore.
You are dumb, bro.
It's only I'm only dumb because it turned out bad. If it turned out good, it'd been fine.
From Game of Thrones, did you not learn from Game of Thrones?
Hey,
right, we've had so many L's.
At least I didn't fucking name my child Khaleesi like so many people did. What
are those?
It's like naming your kid Hitler.
Imagine those people now. Oh, I'd love to talk to them. Just like, what the fuck?
Oh my days. Oh my days. What was I gonna say? I've totally forgot.
Darth Vader, Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Disney has done a really good. They've had a really good run for the Star Wars shows. Let's say the live action stuff. There's been a few weak episodes from Mandalorian in like over 2 seasons. The Boba Fett stuff is apparently amazing.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard it's good.
I've heard it's really good. Like,
but this is also Obi-Wan. These characters, stakes
exactly
in this show are
they brought back Hayden Christensen. That's a fucking huge.
It's enormous. Imagine, but also imagine when Liam Neeson shows up in this show. Like, think about the stakes involved in this show, boys.
This is the thing.
Think about it.
I'll tolerate the last 3, the sequel trilogy. It's like, okay, they weren't too good. But you did.
This is all I want.
You didn't affect the originals or the prequels. Right? So the stakes could only go so far. You fuck up Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, you're dead to me. And not just dead to me. You're an enemy now. I will fucking follow you. You think I want duels in Ghost of Tsushima? I will make sure you never escape this failure. I will follow you your whole career. I'll write personal letters to any organization you work for, even if it's fucking McDonald's. So
Sheps,
like I said, the stakes are high.
It. Talk your shit, Sheps. Talk your shit.
The stakes are high.
I'm with you, 100%. The stakes are high.
Also, because we have spoken about it so much, you think like if we can come up with these stories, these guys who do it for a living and have worked on these incredible projects, if they can't make it happen, though there is one downside. Suits ultimately made the decisions. They okayed What If.
Suits.
Some freaking idiot okayed 7 episodes or whatever it was of that.
And at the end of it, they were just like, "Yeah, this is great. This is good."
I can't believe you guys did streamcast that.
God.
I felt awful.
It was painful.
It came off of the hype of all the other shows that were like, "Oh, these are all really great. Well, this is going to be gold as well, right?" Marvel never misses. And then they just dropped the ball on this.
It's Marvel. It's DC. Like all the animated stuff for this stuff's great. God damn it.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for another episode of Streamcast. We're going to take another little break until the next show comes out. You'll hear us announce that on like Twitter and things like that, so you guys will know what's happening. But thank you for tuning in for this. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you again in the future. And thank you for joining me, bro.
We'll see you for Obi-Wan for sure.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
I'll be here for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Also, I hope you guys enjoy the first 20 minutes of whatever that was.
Yeah, we just chatted some shit for a little bit.
Oh, we're leaving that in. We're leaving that
for
in.
sure.
We're leaving that all in.
For sure. All right, cool. See you, boys.
See you, boys.